Out of interest, the Greens, and I think probably most people watching and listening, don't think that people should have to live in poverty, even those who are on some kind of unemployment benefit. What's the solution, especially for those who are on some kind of, subsidy or benefit from the government, to not living in poverty? Is it just as simple as paying them more?
Well, I'm really proud that we're the only political party who doesn't believe that, but has a plan to address it. And I've been really disappointed with previous successive governments, Labour and National, who have condemned unemployed people to poverty. The answer to that is twofold. One of them is to increase benefit levels above the poverty line to allow people to live well, to end benefit sanctions, to end things like the relationship rules. That means that if you're unemployed and you're deemed to have a partner that has a job, that you basically can't get a benefit most of the time. And then the other side to this is that the government has to take an active role in creating jobs. And that's why we've put a plan to create 40,000 jobs in the construction and manufacturing sector, because we used to make things in this country and we can do it again. And so I think it's a matter of looking at both giving dignity to the welfare system, as well as taking a much more active role in planning the economy and creating jobs so that we can have good housing, so that we don't have to export raw wood to then have it processed offshore and then imported back for construction materials. And I think all of those things are things that will just lift the standards of living to one that I think most people would expect that we have. And certainly we project to the world as though we have these standards of living that we actually do not anymore.
Just before I chuck it to you, Chewie, I've just done a Google search. New Zealand does not have a single official poverty line, but uses several relative measures, primarily based on percentage of the median household income. 50% of the median household income costs in the 23-24 financial year set on an annual household income of $23,741, $455 a week. So whilst we're not asking you to lock it down, but is that sort of what you'd be talking about? If you're on a benefit, you'd get no less than $455 a week. That would be sort of how you work out that poverty line?
And ideally, we should be working towards the baseline benefits getting there, right? I think the challenge that we had is that we've got all these additional top-ups that are like incredibly situational. And beyond that, I think, the other measure we do have in this country to measure poverty, although mostly for children, is our child poverty measurements. What we do know from those is that this definition we have, it's called child material hardship. It's a measurement as to whether children have literally the basics the basics, that's it. And that's projected to go up, right? So what we do know is that over the past few years and into the future, more children are growing up in households where there's not even enough for the basics. And that should tell us something, right? Because you can't really decouple child poverty from adult poverty. Behind every child living in poverty, there's likely to be caregivers that are also living in poverty. So that's, for us, one of the most concerning statistics and measurements that we should be tackling. And so, lifting benefit levels to livable levels, ending sanctions, the relationship rules, and creating jobs need to be absolutely part of it. And we should not be accepting any less.